August 22nd, 1974, Culver City, California. A man named Dr. Barry Taff was sent to investigate some alleged paranormal phenomena. Dr. Taff has been on hundreds of investigations, and he thought that this was going to be a very simple, open and shut case. A woman named Doris Bither asked Dr. Taff for his help a couple of weeks earlier, and Dr. Taff agreed. Dr. Taff and his associate, Carrie Gaynor, did not expect this to be one of the biggest cases in paranormal history. When they arrived to the house, they were greeted by Doris. Doris lived in a small home with her 4 children. Right away, Dr. Taff couldn't believe how bad this house was. It was in shambles. It was even twice condemned by the state. The investigators also noticed very bad tension between Doris and her sons. Doris's sons were 10, 13, and 16. They also felt an overpressure type of feeling, as if their ears needed to pop. While interviewing Doris, the investigators uncovered that Doris suffered major abuse from her parents, and she also had some very abusive boyfriends. And Doris's sons, especially the eldest, seemed to possess some dark and very negative feelings towards his mother. So Doris was in very bad mental shape. She lived in a condemned house, she suffered abuse her whole life, and now her sons were starting to resent her. According to the investigators, Doris was a perfect candidate for paranormal activity. Experts say the people who are constantly surrounded by negative energy attract negative spirits, or in some cases, even demons. Doris claimed that these spirits would physically attack her and sometimes even rape her. The investigators at the time were very skeptical. They thought that maybe Doris was just seeking help or attention. Doris knew that Dr. Taff and Carrie Gaynor were thinking that she was just making this all up. So Doris showed them her scars and bruises. They were shocked when Doris showed them these very brutal-like bruises that she had all over her body, and even in her inner thighs. Even Doris's friends told Dr. Taff that they too had seen apparitions in her home, and they were too afraid to go inside. The children told the investigators that they saw and heard ghosts on a daily basis. Doris said that these ghosts used to be Asian men. Doris told Dr. Taff and Carrie Gaynor that there were 3 entities that constantly attacked and raped her. 2 of the smaller entities would hold her down, while the taller entity would rape her. Even Doris's older son said that he witnessed this, and he tried to intervene, but he got knocked to the ground by an unseen force. The investigators were shocked. They were speechless. This was by far their most bizarre case to date. But Dr. Taff and Carrie Gaynor were professionals, and they really wanted to help this family. Within the first 5 minutes of entering this house, they felt the negative energy. It was all around them. The investigators wanted to get to the bottom of this, so they didn't waste any time setting up their equipment. They had all the best high-tech equipment that the 1970s could provide. They even managed to get a lot of other paranormal investigators to help. Not too long after the equipment was set up, they asked Doris to go to the room that had the most activity, and Doris walked straight to her bedroom. Then they told Doris to start yelling and cursing at these entities. The investigators were trying to provoke these spirits, and it worked. Right away, odd orbs started to manifest all around the room. Then, a very bizarre, greenish-like mist started to appear, and it swirled around Doris. The investigators could even see a man's upper torso within this green mist. One of the investigators was so terrified that he fainted. The investigators could not believe what they were seeing. In all their years as paranormal researchers, they had never experienced anything like this. With all the cameras that they set up, the investigators thought that they struck gold. Finally, real undeniable proof that ghosts or demons or whatever this was does exist. But not one of their high-tech, high-speed cameras picked this up. The investigators just couldn't explain it. But they did manage to get a lot of amazing footage of orbs, and these orbs were all throughout the house. A couple of days after the spine-chilling encounter, the eldest son told Dr. Taff that when he played certain music, like Black Sabbath, the activity in the house would increase. So Dr. Taff wanted to try it. Dr. Taff couldn't believe what he was witnessing. Not too long after the music started playing, the room started filling up with orbs. There were orbs flying all over the place. The next month and a half, Dr. Taff and his colleagues experienced some very intense paranormal phenomena that they just couldn't explain. But as time went by, everything started to slow down, then eventually stop altogether. Dr. Taff started to think that these entities might have been afraid of them or afraid of what they were doing. Now, it didn't take too long for this haunting to get very famous, due to the fact that every single member within the paranormal investigation team had mind-blowing stories to tell. And some experts believe that Doris was the cause of all this. They think that Doris had a gift, and she was able to manifest this negative energy. Whatever the case may be, the haunting of Doris Bither is one of the most credible cases of ghosts, demons, or psychic abilities of all time. And this picture is some great evidence that Dr. Taft and his team did in fact come face to face with these entities.